afternoon. Welcome to the April 16th, 2024 meeting of the Oshkosh Common Council. If the city clerk could please take the roll.
Hayes.
Present.
Esslinger.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Ford.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Bulow.
Here.
Mughawar.
Here.
7 present.
We have one item on the consent agenda. This is the Oshkosh Board of Canvass filing of the official statement of votes cast for the April 2nd, 2024 election for the Oshkosh Common Council, declaring Jacob Floam, Chris Larson, and DJ Nichols as elected. I'll take a motion and a second.
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, when you're ready, if you'll take the roll.
Hayes.
Aye.
Esslinger.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Ford.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Bulow.
Aye.
Mughawar.
Aye.
Carried 7.
That brings us to other business. Typically, other business at this meeting, under our reorg meeting, this is where we say some thank yous and we wish our current colleagues the very best. I don't know if you guys if you have any statements you guys would like to share first. Anybody who's leaving wants to say anything, the floor is yours.
You want to go, Lindsay?
No, you go.
Oh, geez.
Professor goes first.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief, but I obviously wrote something because I can't help myself. So just first off, thanks to everyone. It's been a real privilege, and congratulations to all the incoming officials. You know, reflecting back, when I first ran, I made 2 basic commitments. One, that I worked to ensure residents knew what their government was doing, why they were doing it, and whether they were doing it well. And 2, that I would do all I could to ensure this body doesn't devolve into an ideological battlefield. I think and I hope I honored these commitments. At the very least, I tried to stay true to my core belief there's more strength in compromise and coalition building than in headstrongness and division. And even my harshest critics, I think, deserve a seat at the table, deserve my attention, because this city is just as much theirs as it is mine. I certainly made my share of mistakes. I was reflecting back in the conversation with my family last night. You know, COVID policies, DEI framework, Clearwell, failed graffiti ordinance, special assessment reform, Butamore, and a heck of a lot more. I think a lot about those, what we could have done better, what we could have done to bring more people into the mix, where compromises could have been made to the benefit of all. I think about these issues, like I said, and I'm going to continue to think about them, as I think we all should. But I'm forever grateful for my colleagues up here and the ones that were up here before. I think so highly of Mayor Mughawar. I think he's everything that's right about governing. He's honest, kind, in disagreement, and always communicated. Not everybody knows this, but Deputy Mayor Erickson and Councilmember Stevenson were actually students of mine. Jacob, who's going to be sworn in today, is also a student of mine. And I just can't adequately describe, even though it's corny, how proud I am of their leadership to be able to serve with them and to see what Jacob does when he gets up there. Definitely a career highlight of mine. Finally, thank you to city staff and City Manager Mark Roloff for putting up with me and for all the work that you do. It's really been a joy. I have absolutely no advice for the incoming members, just congratulations. I wish you luck, and I'm really excited to see you move Oshkosh forward. And thank you all for the privilege.
I can go next.
If you'd like, sure.
I also have a speech, over prepared. So I just want to say first thank you to family and friends. It's been quite a ride these last 4 years. We saw many, many interesting things. And I appreciate how they've always kind of kept me grounded, remind me why I care so much about this work. Also want to thank city staff, all the time, energy, care you put into your work for the good of the community and people. Working in public service is a commitment that I don't take lightly, and I've learned so much from each and every one of you. These last 4 years on council have been some of the most challenging, rewarding, and affirming years of my, as of today, 32 years. I'm not one to hold on to power or titles. One of the reasons I made the difficult decision not to run again. But I always wanted to serve the community in ways that were right for me. And as I reflect back on my time serving on council, I think about the work we did to help people become aware and understand the decisions that we make up here. I wanted to serve in a way that recognized people's dignity and humanity, and I think we do that. For the next council, I do have advice. I hope you continue being thoughtful about the issues that come in front of you. We make decisions that directly impact people's everyday lives. One of the reasons that local government is so important. And I encourage you to keep listening and centering people. This work can become very, very difficult, but always remember why you ran and what we're here for. Never take lightly the impact that you have, and that you'll have to work harder to be able to represent the voices who are not up here. So thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to serve and keep working for a better community for everyone.
Councilmember Hayes?
I guess I must. So I did not prepare a statement, and this will be one of the few times as an attorney that I will be very brief. But I, of course, want to start out by thanking the community as well as thanking council for appointing me to this position. I, as deputy mayor, look at ways in which to serve this community because this is a community in which I cherish, that I've been a part of, and I can see many great things that can come about by being actively involved in your community. And this is one of the ways in which I chose to be involved. I believe that representation is crucial, especially when we look at our city's makeup. I want to make sure that everyone has a voice in what is happening within their city. I appreciate an opportunity to serve in this capacity. Will continue to serve in some capacity in the city, as I've always done. As far as advice to incoming council, one thing that I've continued to say in meetings or when I have interactions within the community is that we have to be mindful of how we're defining community. And that is not original to me, but original to a friend, in asking, when someone says their community, who are you speaking of? If it's the everyday people that you interact with, it's likely that it does not make up this entire community. I would hope that all of council and even our community members are proactive, intentional, and authentic in making sure that you interact and hear, receive, and speak for all the voices that we have in this community. So I appreciate the opportunity. It will be a pleasure to be standing there at that podium and speaking to incoming council because I intend to do so. One thing that I can say is that my time on council has opened up my eyes to ways in which I can be active, and I don't have to be here to do so. But what this has done is give me a greater understanding in just how our city government is run and how I can best serve our community, and doesn't have to be simply sitting here. And so I'm congratulating all of you and thanking every single one of you as well.
Very nicely said, all three of you. Remaining council members, anything you would like to say? Otherwise, I have some brief remarks, and then we have some plaques to give away. All right. Take it away. I'll go. So while these seats have always meant to have new folks sit in them, it's still a bittersweet farewell. So today we close the chapter on this current council and we welcome a new one. Councilmember Hayes, Councilmember Ford, Deputy Mayor Erickson. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside each of you. I've enjoyed our discussions and our time together, but more importantly, I've enjoyed getting to know you. So my advice to new council, usually I don't do this either, but we're doing a little bit of it, so why not? To the newest members joining us, I encourage you to do just that, to get to know one another. Why they ran, what drives them. It can be enlightening to find out how little separates us and how alike our hopes are for this community. With that, I want to thank each of you for your service. Oshkosh is a better place to live, to work, and to play because of your service that you've given us. So thank you to each of you. We have a plaque of appreciation for each of you as well. I'll read it out, and then we've got three of them here. So an appreciation award presented to each of my esteemed colleagues, giving in grateful recognition of your outstanding service as an Oshkosh City Council member. Ms. Hayes. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ford.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yep. And Deputy Mayor Erickson.
Snazzy.
If there's no other business, I'll take a motion to adjourn, sine die.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
We go away, right?
You go away now.
All right.
Be gone. You've been replaced.
Thank you. Yep. Working with you, too. Try not to bug you too much.
that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and the ordinances of the City of Oshkosh, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of your ability?
I do.
Congratulations.
Sure.
You've seen that.
I did.
Jacob, you want a pen? You got it. I got one.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Diane, just let me know when you're ready.
I think I'm ready.
All right. Jake, you ready back there? Good. All right, we will call the meeting to order. City Clerk, if you'll please take the roll.
Flom,
Here.
Esslinger.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Stevenson.
Here.
Bulow.
Here.
Mughawar.
Here.
7 present.
With that, the first item up on our agenda this afternoon is election of deputy mayor. In this case, what will happen is I'll open the nominations up. I'll call it 3 times. A second is not required. All you need to do is put forth a name. After calling it 3 times, I'll close nominations. We'll have any discussion needed, and then there'll be a vote for the election, and then we'll declare it from there. Then we'll take care of some seating assignments and some other things on the agenda. With that, I'll open up nominations for deputy mayor. Councilmember Esslinger.
Stevenson.
Second time calling for nominations for deputy mayor. I'm going to put for myself, I'll put forth Councilmember Bulow as deputy mayor. And third and final time calling for nominations for deputy mayor. We'll declare nominations closed. Now will be a time for discussion if there was any. And for the new folks, don't hesitate to hit your button real fast. We move at a pretty good clip. Seeing as there's no discussion, City Clerk, will you please take the vote on deputy mayor? In this case, state the name for which you are voting for deputy mayor. She'll go down the line.
Flom,
Stevenson.
Esslinger,
Stevenson.
Larson,
Bulow.
Nichols,
Bulow.
Stevenson.
I'm going to vote for myself, Stevenson.
Fine then, Bulow.
Mughawar.
Bulow.
If my math is correct, it looks like Bulow has been selected. It's deputy mayor.
Congratulations, Councilmember Bulow. You're now the new deputy mayor. Thank you. That'll move us right into seating assignments. Typically, the deputy sits to the right of me. He does not have to, but that's usually where deputy sits. Is that the seat you're gonna?
Yeah, I'll kick Larson out of there.
All right, sounds good. So the rest of this, I should have described it for those listening at home. Generally, this is by seniority, and then as the second tiebreaker, it's based upon the vote count of that election. So now that Councilmember Bulow has been elected deputy mayor, it'll go Stevenson, and then Esslinger, Larson, Nichols, and then Flom will take the last seat. So Councilmember Councilmember Stevenson, you're next up to choose where you sit.
I'm taking your spot. Okay. Oh, look at that. Let's go. And Lynn's just up here like.
Not official until Lynn moves.
Right?
That's right.
Only if she agrees, right? Councilmember Esslinger, you're next.
I want to be as close to the door as I can get, so I'm going to.
Councilmember Larson, you're up next.
I want this one.
Sounds good. Councilmember Nichols
I'll stay put.
and Mr. Flom.
I'll stay put.
Sounds good.
It would be awkward if you didn't.
All right.
I'll have to get used to the mic on the left now.
It'll take some time. It's 12 months and then, right. Next up, we have procedural matters. First up, orientation of city departments for council members. City Manager Roloff, you want to comment on this, or would you like me to?
Well, maybe you can, just from an experience standpoint.
So first off, I encourage all of our newly elected as well as current members, city staff, the department heads is more than ready, willing, and able to introduce you to their respective departments. They will take you through tours, and they will work around your schedules. I know they've been nothing but accommodating to myself and other council members. I highly suggest you take them up on those opportunities. I know several of you have probably already met with City Manager Roloff, probably the clerk and attorney, but when it comes time, especially for budget decisions, it's great to know what they're talking about and why they're asking for it and why they say it's important, and they will take those opportunities to show you exactly why if you go through those tours. So that's my spiel.
Two things. One, the council manual is in a binder. It's one for all of you, even continuing members. Encourage you to read that. Usually bedside is the best place to do that, and then you'll go off to sleep very nicely. There's a lot of interesting stuff in there. But I know Councilmember Essler who reads it on a Friday afternoon.
I
So
do.
that's his thing. You pick your own way of doing it. Andy Raddick, who's not here today, is our communications coordinator, and Andy does the coordination of the orientation. So Andy will be in touch with you about trying to schedule it to meet your individual schedules and everything. If it turns out that more than two of you are on that, we'll just simply notice it. And if you're going to be taking a tour of the sewer treatment plant, we'll notice it. It's okay. You can do it in threes. That won't be a problem. And I would also say to our continuing council members, you are cordially welcome to join us as well. If you want a refresher, maybe you missed a different department tour, happy to do that with you as well. So Andy will be in touch with you very shortly to start scheduling those.
If there's no questions from any of you on that, we'll move on to discussion and approval of council rules. So this is agenda item, K3 here. This will we'll take a roll on this one, but actually I'll take a motion in a second to put it on the floor.
Move it.
Second.
So discussion on council rules. There's nothing proposed to be changed at this time. Doesn't mean that something can't change into the future, but we reaffirm these rules with every new council that's seated, and then into the future, if there's something you want to take action on, we can always take that up at any time to change our rules. But this is to make sure that we're operating under them from day one. Councilmember Esslinger?
Thank you, Mayor. One thing I'd like to change, I don't know if this is a rule or not, Lynn, but back when I was on the council years ago, when we had an agenda item or citizen statements, we did not require them to sign up for that. And I don't know when that got changed, but there is a requirement to sign up for that. And I've noticed that in many cases, an item would come up and the mayor would say there's no one signed up, and someone did say they did sign up. So I think what we need to do is make things as easy for the citizens as possible. And I think with some of the older folks, they don't know how to do, to sign up. And I know this is kind of petty, but it's intimidating to come up to the council. You're on TV and you got 7 council members and all that. So I would just like to make this as easy as possible for citizens, and I would like to get rid of the requirement to sign up for it, because I don't think it makes it easier for the citizens. It maybe for us, I don't know.
I'm skimming really quick. I do not see that is specifically in the rules. It was something that was added to as a
Yeah.
method to know if we had people who wanted to talk to different items. I think we typically, and I think we did the last meeting, took people who hadn't signed up as well. So that is certainly something the council has entertained in the past. It's, it does, the one thing and I don't want to speak for the clerk, but I'm going to. It does give us the correct spelling and addresses, because sometimes it's very hard to catch that otherwise. So if they've signed up, we're able to gather that information for the minutes. So that's something to consider.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the other part of that was also to give residents who wanted to speak to council, if they were running late for an item, they could be registered, and then we know to expect them to speak. They may show up a few minutes late. Every once in a while, the item is past them, council's granted the courtesy of, well, even though we've decided on it, we'll listen to it. I think I remember at least one time, the person's speech was so compelling, the council has to reconsider it, which is well within the rights too. So it's, as the city attorney said, it's entirely up to you, but I think it's trying to be more of a courtesy for the clerk to be able to keep track of it, as well as for the resident to do it in advance. Because you can do it either here at the outside podium, and we usually have a staff member, lurking around. I think nobody was here last week, which is why that person missed it. Or you can actually, the Connect Oshkosh app gives you the capability, you can sign up, the minute the agenda's out, you could sign up to speak on a Friday afternoon. So but it's entirely up to council.
Deputy Mayor.
The only thing I was going to say is it does provide also an order of who's going to speak, so not everybody has to rush up to the podium at once. I've never seen Mayor McGraw or any of the recent mayors decline somebody the opportunity to speak, so I think it is not a barrier, but more of an organizational tool, the way I see it. Like, if it was where if you didn't speak, you didn't get to talk, that'd be one thing, but I've never seen us decline somebody that have the opportunity.
Yeah, and folks are able to register. Usually there's, I know it can be intimidating, but there is an officer sitting there, usually with a clipboard. They can always register there as well. I can understand completely where Councilmember Esslinger is coming from, trying to make things as easy as possible. That's what we should be trying to do. But you're right, it's also just an organizational tool that helps the city clerk and helps us know, who's coming and what they're speaking towards, so. I see no other, go ahead, Councilmember Stevens.
But to answer Paul's question, is there a specific policy that says they have to sign up, or there isn't?
I
The
didn't
quick
get the
search,
question
okay.
ahead of time,
No.
so I didn't study, but I skimmed quick and I did not see
Okay.
it in the actual written.
Sure. So I guess preference is that they sign up ahead of time, but traditionally, we've always allowed people to speak if they.
Correct.
Sure.
Yep. I don't believe it's within the council rules. I've done the same, trying to peruse it, but it's not within our rules. So if it's something else, we can discuss it put it on a future agenda item and have further discussion if we'd like. But since it's not within the rules, I don't know that there's a rule to take away. Any other discussion on the rules? If not, City Clerk, if you'll take the roll on approval of the council rules.
Esslinger,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Muglebauer,
Aye.
carried 7.
Next up, we have consent agenda. This is Resolution 24-192. This is approve appointments to the Board of Review. Take a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I'll give a brief one. The reason this is on your agenda this week and not next week's is there's a time frame of the Board of Review has to be seated, has to be trained before their board starts taking some of their activities up very, very shortly. That's the reason it's on this meeting's agenda. But you will see a listing of other appointments starting next Tuesday for all other boards and commissions for renewals and even our appointments as well. If you'll take the roll on 24-192.
Esslinger,
Aye.
Flom,
Aye.
Bulow,
Aye.
Stevenson,
Aye.
Nichols,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Muglebauer,
Aye.
carried 7.
Other business, 2024 calendar dates for the 2025 budget preparation. City Manager.
I believe the council has received a copy of that, and the primary reason is to get on your calendar as early as possible. Our goal is not to ruin your summer vacation or anything like that, but there are a couple work sessions during the summer, and then where we really ruin your vacation is when we ask you to give us a 2-day council, essentially an in-house council retreat where we do our budget workshops, where hear presentations from all the departments. Typically a Monday and a Tuesday that's on the calendar. I'd ask that you just kind of keep that in mind, and I think some of you give up vacation days, and for that I apologize. But certainly I think we benefit greatly from having council during the day. We used to, in the old days, I'm sorry, I'm looking at Councilmember Esslinger because he has memories of these, we would do them in the evening, and they would, dwell on, and that really became tiring for both council and staff. The all-day workshops seem to have worked pretty well, and we're proposing to keep that going. So just keep those dates on your calendar, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. I believe we have a 5th Tuesday in July, which benefits everybody, because no meetings are scheduled for the 5th Tuesday, so we take advantage of those, and I think that's one of our early budget workshops. So that's really it. Just wanted to make you keep those on your calendar.
Those are June 26th. I see we have August 28th as well. Those are usually evening ones, 5 to 7-ish roughly for the workshops those evenings, maybe a little bit longer. And then as City Manager Roloff was alluding to, workshops 3 and 4 are actually October the 28th and 29th. So those will be all-day 8 to 4 type sessions where we'll listen to the full budget review, and then we move into November with the approval. So.
Okay.
Next up, council portrait, April 23rd, 5 o'clock. If we could have you here at 5, all done up, hopefully all spiffed up as well. We'll have our council portrait at 5. And then are we planning a possible closed session for that meeting as well?
I think we're going to be able to avoid that.
Okay.
City attorney will be putting on a memo on one of the items. And if we have to, for some reason, we'll do it at the back end of the meeting instead, because we want you to look great we don't want you to look tired from closed session. So we'll have you ready to go at 5 for the photo.
Sounds good. In future workshops, we have Stevenson and Bulow have suggested undergrounding utilities. Those will be coming up shortly. I think, City Manager Roloff, do you have an update on roughly when, or any information you need from us?
Not necessarily, unless there's something addition you want to add to that, but we had a meeting with WPS last week, and I think we may need to meet with some of the other utilities, because it's not just about WPS, but we'll keep you posted. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that to there's a little portion of the agenda that's a list of outstanding issues, and I think I'll just put it as an outstanding issue just to keep it on the radar for everybody, and we'll keep you posted about when that's going to be.
Sounds good. And another one from Councilmember Stevenson is housing. Anything on that either you want to provide to us, or that?
I think it was really more on now that we've adopted the housing plan, it's really more about the implementation part of it. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I think it was implementation, and then really just getting this body together. I know there's been talks of talking about where we could potentially update our code or get messaging out for ways we've already updated our code, or just kind of direction on where we're taking that housing study. So I think it was kind of a handful of things.
Okay.
Sounds good. If there's nothing else, that's all we have for you. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.